Let's do it.
7018 is the backbone rod for structural welding, and every student in every welding school will weld a 2F T-joint with 7018. I'm using 130 amps today. Almost every small TIG inverter out there will also stick weld, and they'll do a great job with 7018. Let's get into it. Before we light up, let's talk rod angle just a little bit. I usually use a drag angle about like this. Slight drag angle, maybe 10-20 degrees. You can get away with this. You can get away with straight in as long as you keep your arc length tight. A lot of textbooks will tell you to use a 45-degree angle, but if you'll tilt it down just a little bit, you have a little bit better luck on preventing undercut on that top toe. I use a fan a lot when I'm stick welding, and I position it so that it blows the fumes away from me. Also helps me film the arc, gets the fume out of there. Keep a nice tight arc, keep that rod angle consistent, just move that puddle along nice and easy. You have to remember with stick welding with 7018 that the rod burns up in there and kind of makes a cone. And so when you think you're holding a tight arc, you actually have a little bit longer arc length than you actually do. So I like to hold the arc tight enough that I can almost feel that flux scrubbing on the base metal here and there. I'm not ramming the rod in there. I'm just trying to keep a nice tight arc. These are Lincoln Excalibur rods I'm using today, and usually the slag comes off pretty easy with those. All rods are a little bit different. All need a little bit different amperage. For a restart here, I'm going to steady up just by propping the rod on my thumb so I can get a nice steady restart. I'm going to light up about a ½ inch or so ahead of that crater and go right into the crater and try to cover up any arc strikes and weld back over anything that I put down when I lit up. Well, let's take a look at the restart and see what that looks like. And I guess I got kind of lucky. It looks pretty good. Now, same heat, same exact heat, single pass, overhead joint, same thickness, same everything. An old timer once told me that overhead welding is just like flat, except it's upside down. And he wasn't wrong. Of course, if you hold a long arc, that puddle will fall out on you. And I have so many scars to prove that. When I was in welding school, I struggled so hard with overhead. And the reason was I was afraid of it, and I would turn the heat down, and that made me hold a long arc. Once I started using about the same amperage as for flat and horizontal and holding a good tight arc, then I started putting the metal where it belonged, on the plate instead of on me.